want to welcome you to our town hall meeting pertaining to Hinchliffe Stadium. And I just want everybody to keep in mind we're on the brink of making history in our city. That stadium has been empty, abandoned, an eyesore for 26 years. And I think the hardest part, and we have Commissioner Manny Martinez from the Paterson Board of Education here, the hardest part was that our youth were deprived of a place like Hinchliffe Stadium that they could play on. In fact, it's interesting that Brian, you'll hear from him a little bit later, played on that field at one point. I won't tell you when, but it clearly was not within the last 26 years, right, Brian?
No, sir.
And Brian has acquired the sun-kissed look right now with that tan because he's there every day making sure that it's ready on time. And I feel better for watch this, Martha, the students at School 5. Because I was thinking about the 7th graders, right? Because for their whole time at School 5, what have they seen? Rubble, decay, decline. At one point, they probably saw trees growing in the stands, and they saw all types of vandalism of this once proud historic treasure of ours. But now those 7th graders, moving on to 8th grade next year, will be on that field for field day. And maybe even get like their diplomas on that field as well. So I kept thinking about the 7th graders. But we're also thinking about you, because for the people that live in the neighborhood, there is going to be some transformation. It's the word I can use. I mean, we're transforming the stadium, but it's also going to transform the neighborhood. And you are going to see traffic patterns change as a result. And when there are special events, you're going to see larger crowds than normal. But I'd like to think that it's better than what it once was, and that it is a proud moment for Paterson to have been able to restore this historic edifice. And so I'm encouraged that my chief of staff has been working on this with my team. We have Das Attilos, our director of communications. We have Della McCall, who is the director of community engagement. We have Deborah Bravo, the director of strategic initiatives. We've got a lot of directors that are sprouting out of nowhere here. But just know that their time and energy and attention has been primarily focused on making sure that the neighborhood is not adversely impacted, or at least we mitigate what we anticipate as far as traffic congestion, maybe potential parking problems. I don't want you to think this is doom and gloom. That's why I started off by saying we are on the brink of making history in this city, but unfortunately there may be some inconvenience as a result. There may be some hassles. But that's why we're here. So if we can in earnest begin the program about the reopening of Hinchliffe Stadium and what it means. And so for the first time in 26 years, a game, but this time the games will be played at Hinchliffe Stadium. And there was a clamoring within the community for the two teams to be Eastside and Kennedy. Now, just allow me to elaborate. Eastside and Kennedy cannot play each other because they've already played twice. But they had previously scheduled games. Eastside was playing Don Bosco Prep. That's going to be a tall order. Brian, you know about high school baseball?
I do.
He knows. I'm not saying he's going to wager any bet on Don Bosco Prep, but from what I understand, they're the heavy favorite. The Kennedy Knights will take on another Paterson school, the Paterson Charter School for Science and Technology. So the first game is 4:15 and the second game is 7. The tickets will be available through the schools, and I believe it's free. So that'll be the first event in 26 years that will take place at Hinchliffe Stadium. No tickets for you. Does it? Did you fall asleep there? I know it's a long day. So Friday is the rebirth of Hinchliffe Stadium. What is that? It's a ribbon cutting ceremony at 11 a.m. And we have an A-list of individuals that will be gracing Paterson with their presence. Primarily, Whoopi Goldberg will be here in Paterson. Tiki Barber played for the Giants. I just confirmed this morning he should be here. Senator Cory Booker is going to be joining us as well. So it's going to be a star-studded affair. And we still have some room for people to sign up, but we just need you to register. You need a ticket, and we'll allow you to participate in the program as far as the festivities are concerned. And then later that night, if you can't make it to that actual event, we have a community celebration. And we have some entertainers like Sybil who will be performing live for your pleasure. And again, that's at 6 o'clock. And again, tickets are required. At this time, because I don't necessarily want you to just hear from me, I could yield to Director Della, who can elaborate a little further as to what this celebration of Hinchliffe Stadium will look like. Director.
Hi.
And project, please.
I will.
And stand, please.
Okay,
Stand.
I was about to stand. So we would like to first say that we're excited about Hinchcliffe Stadium and the rebirth, and we do want to celebrate with our entire community. So that morning, we're going to have the ribbon cutting, and then at 6 o'clock, the stadium will be open to receive people for the mini concert. The concert is going to have 3 acts, but 3 good acts. So we're not going to tell you, we're letting them out day by day, but right now it's so important that Sybil, who is a renowned singer in our, I don't want to say disco era, but in our house music era. And so she'll be coming back home for the first time in a very long time to perform at Hinchcliffe Stadium. The one thing that we do want to share with anyone that will be attending events at the stadiums, that there'll be no bags entered into the stadium, no book bags, no pocketbooks. So we're asking you to leave those things at home. It's just for safety, and we want to make sure that everyone can get in and we don't have to check a lot of bags, but we're asking no pocketbooks. If you are going to bring a bag, you know, those clear sandwich bags type of things. If you have to carry something as important as medication or something like that, we ask that you bring a clear bag, and we ask that it be kind of very small, as small as possible. And that's it. We're looking forward for everyone to come, and we're going to have a very exciting time.
Yes, and you talk about Ziploc bags that we referred to?
Yeah,
okay.
Ziploc.
Well,
that works
I have 3 children at home. We have plenty of
clear
Ziploc bags for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So that's that program. Let's move a little forward and talk about some other things that we can look forward to. And then I'm obviously going to the Jackals, right? So the New Jersey Jackals, after playing in Little Falls at the Yogi Berra Stadium for 25 years, they are relocating to Paterson. So Hinchcliffe Stadium will be the home of a professional baseball team. Now they're going to have their set of games, but there are going to be nights where you're going to see more activity than others. For example, I know on Juneteenth, they have a spectacular affair that they plan. Also, July 5th is the anniversary of when Larry Doby broke the color barrier and integrated the American League. So, and then July 1st and July 3rd, they have fireworks spectaculars. So on those days, when I'm referring to traffic patterns and perhaps some potential hassles for the neighborhood, you can anticipate those issues emerging. Now at this time, I can defer to Brian if he wants to just elaborate a little further.
Sure.
Brian, please introduce yourself too.
Sure.
Not that they didn't know your name, Brian.
No. My name is Brian Verhassel, as the mayor said. I'm the general manager for the property over at Hinchcliffe. I'll oversee all operations at the stadium, the new housing building, and the parking garage as well. Mayor kicked it off with parking. Obviously, it's everyone's first ask, where am I going to park? We have a lot there, 313 spots. There will be a web link on the Jackals ticket page or any event host to purchase tickets, to purchase parking right there. If not, it will be pay as you walk in with a QR code. We work very closely with the Paterson Parking Authority. Lots 7, 8, 10, and the public safety lot have been identified and promised, set forth for us. We can use them, Jackals can use them for event dates. So even if the lot is normally closed, it will be open on an event day. And like the mayor said, some events will be small with 700, 800 people. Some events will be much larger. We can get 7,800 people in that stadium. I would love to do it every night. So,
thank you. I also want to touch base on the Jackals because we're looking for them to invest in the community. So a few weeks ago, they did have a job fair, and about 100 people from Paterson showed up for that job fair. I can't tell you how many of those 100 were hired, but I can tell you a significant number were hired. And I know that with the stadium, they're hiring Patersonians. One of our own, Vaughn McCoy, will have the concession. We'll also have a food court. So that'll create some job opportunities for our residents as well. But think about the garage. And then there's going to be a museum. I told you earlier at 7 o'clock, that's why we have a hard stop at that time. I am reluctantly going to Yankee Stadium, wearing my orange and blue, their board president, because the Yankees have been magnanimous enough to dedicate a portion of ticket sales for tonight's game against the Tampa Bay Rays towards the Negro League Museum that we're building at Hinchcliffe Stadium. And I'm still going to root for the Mets, even though they're not like ponying up anything. So nevertheless, the Jackals, the Yankees, There's a connection there, and quite frankly, we're trying to get as many partners as we can. We've met with the New York Jets. Martha, you and I are Giants fans. Again, the opposite teams for me look like they're more interested in the ones that I root for. So not necessarily saying I'm going to convert my allegiance to any new teams, but we are grateful for anyone that would like to assist us in our efforts to enhancing what we can offer to our residents and for those who want to visit Paterson. So on that note, that's what I think it's our next slide. All right, now, if you have any questions, we're very accessible. As you can see, we have like a whole host of directors here in Paterson. So this is our information as far as the office line is concerned, how you can find us on the various social media sites and our website as well. So now I know some of you have been chomping at the bit. So at this time, I'm going to open the floor for questions. And let's keep it on topic as far as Hinchcliffe Stadium is concerned.
Question.
Sure.
I'm right at Hinchcliffe Stadium.
I know.
And we
You're
already...
going to see some good games. Hopefully no foul balls go through your window.
They better not.
I know.
No, we don't have
I can't guarantee if like somebody hits a moonshot, like Aaron Judge plays in Paterson, who knows? Or Pete Alonso.
We never know.
Yeah.
No, but with parking already being a bit of a challenge, is there, anyway, I'm glad to hear there is a parking lot for 313 people.
Right.
With the magnitude of people that you guys are expecting, is there any kind of way that Liberty Street and all the streets that surround us is going to somehow be...
That's a fair question to ask. I was also thinking about Walnut Street. You have the firefighters hall.
Exactly.
That could potentially be a solution just on those nights where you're going to see a high volume of individuals. We are also in the process, but this is down the road. We're looking to build a visitor center at the Great Falls at Overlook Park, named for our founder, Alexander Hamilton. Any tax credit project has a parking component attached to it. So that would be another garage with 300 parking spots. But I don't want you to hold your breath. That's a few years down the road.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, Martha, go ahead.
What about using the trolley to take people back and forth to the lower parking lot of the...
So at one point, the parking, right, the parking authority had a trolley. The art factory has a trolley as well. So that is a sensible suggestion. Thank you, Martha. That was good. Yes? No? You were like
Yes,
waving.
I have a few questions here.
Sure.
What's the overcost of the stadium at this
So
point?
as far as tax credits concerned, it's about $106 million.
I noticed you said 700, but what is the total capacity that?
7,800 for the whole stadium. And I've been to I don't know, how many of you attended a Jackals game? What would you say the average attendance is? Or, I mean, it all depends on...
Full house.
Really?
Yeah, especially the 4th of July.
Yes, that's when I went. Okay, that's when I went, yeah.
Okay, so
If I could jump in here real quick. So when we talk about max capacity, we're looking at, like the mayor said earlier, probably 4 days throughout the whole season, or even anywhere close to in the thousands. When you talk about their normal games throughout the week, now we're talking in the hundreds, 500, something like that. So we'll have plenty of parking to accommodate, for most games.
okay,
All right, he's got a few more.
I'm sorry. I presented a series of questions to the City Hall concerning some financial data on the stadium. I was told that I would have to notify or get in touch with the state of New Jersey. When I was told the state of New Jersey, I wasn't told any entity, just the state of New Jersey. Who would I be talking to
Well,
that they're referring to?
Any project that involves tax credits has been approved by the Economic Development Authority. So that may be the outlet for you.
Okay, so at this point, the school does not own Hinchcliffe Stadium?
No, the school does.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the school does own Hinchcliffe Stadium?
Right.
Okay, so you're saying that I would have to talk to the school about whatever financial dealings are going on with
Well,
the
I don't know,
stadium?
the board president is present, but it was not so much that. I mean, but if you could, see, I think it's sort of nebulous what you're saying, like financial dealings. Are you saying that you don't want the tax credits applied to
No,
storing
no,
the
no,
stadium?
no, no.
So you need to elaborate then.
No, the people in the community, they want to know what the overcost is. They would like to take a look at the budget. they would like to take a look at the financial forms of the stadium. Now, I am not against the stadium, because when the city itself said, we're gonna tear it down, I'm the one who went out and made a video of the stadium and said, look, what are we going to do? Okay?
So you know what?
Now
Now you gave me a little more clarity. I can elaborate further because it's multi-layered, right? It's not just the stadium.
Okay.
So there's also affordable housing for senior citizens. So that's
Right.
75 units.
I want to get on that too.
Then the parking garage is 313 spots. We talked about that. Then there's the museum. Then there's the restaurant, and there's also the stadium. So there's many components to this project. Now, from my vantage point, there were other projects I could have pursued. As a matter of fact, there was another project that I was going to fund with these tax credits, but I decided that it would probably be more prudent to bring back the stadium than to take a larger risk. And I'll be frank with you, there was talk of a downtown arena. And I don't feel like if you weigh the downtown arena's benefits against the benefits of having our stadium back, with all the memories that people have, the sentimental attachment, I'm certain that restoring Hinchcliffe Stadium outweighs a downtown arena that you're really rolling the dice on. And I like to take risks. I'm not risk averse.
Okay, I have,
If I can.
And another question, because there's other people that want to ask.
okay, just one more question.
Go ahead.
And that's concerning the Board of Education. Recently, the Board of Education made a deal with the band, the guy who's going.
Vaughn McCoy.
Right, Vaughn McCoy. And it concerned the liquor license. Can you fill me in on what exactly happened there with that deal? What type of money was involved? Okay.
I think the board president would like to address that.
So, to answer-
If you want to come forward, please. Okay.
Good.
Thank you. To answer some of your questions, there was an agreement between us and the actual person who got the concession stands. In order for him to sell liquor, which is not part of liquor, which is beer for the games, he had to get a waiver because the school was there.
Okay.
So he came to the school district to ask for a waiver. There was no money exchanged.
Okay, now I understand that there wasn't any money exchanged, but I'm under the impression, just like many of the people in the community that are reading, that a $10,000 deal was made. Well, what deal was made for the playground to be cleaned up?
The agreement was the person, vendor that came to us, that for the concession stand, he needed a state waiver to get into this concession stand. There was no change of money for the education to this vendor. What happened is he's lobbying the state of New Jersey for the liquor license in order for them to sell beer at the stadium. They want for them to sell beer at the stadium, he asked the school district for the waiver because the waiver needed to be happened for school five. The Board of Education has not collected any money on this deal at all.
Okay.
At this point, we have entered a lease agreement with the state in order for these products to happen.
All right, what's the cleaning up of the playgrounds about?
Which playgrounds?
I have no idea, just as something mentioned.
Commissioner Manny Martinez. Commissioner.
So I think what you're referring to, at one of our meetings, we voted on it, it was suggested by a board member, it was a suggestion, which ultimately was not voted on and approved. The suggestion was that perhaps the vendors could make a donation of $10,000 that could be used towards the maintenance of playgrounds. It was a suggestion, it was discussed, at the end of the day, it was decided that it wasn't appropriate and it wasn't approved.
So-
But I see where you're coming from,
Yeah.
that, because it was, I think it was in the newspaper.
Okay.
So none of that actually happened, it was a conversation that occurred, and it was voted down.
Okay, so what the community is interested in is the fact of the matter is, deals are being made with Hinchcliffe Stadium concerning our children, okay? And the deals that are being made, the children are being shortchanged. The young man who's got the liquor license is gonna make millions here.
That young man's from Patterson, by the way.
It doesn't
He grew up-
matter. It
he went
doesn't
to East Side.
matter.
No, it does
We're
matter.
we're not
Because
speaking- we're not-
the young people can aspire to be a lawyer like him and be a Hall of Famer like him.
So I just wanted to make it clear.
Yeah.
When you said deals, there was no deal made with the Board of Education at all. So this one,
You know what? Quite frankly, Ms. Chaley, I'm sorry. This is not about deals and speculation and conjecture. This is about neighborhoods being impacted by Hinchcliffe Stadium. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to stay behind and ask any of us. But I'm not speculating on any deals. This benefits the children. 180 days of that usage of the field is for children. Graduations will take place again. Eastside and Kennedy will play Thanksgiving football again. They're going to open it up, so you're welcome to stay. Go ahead, Martha.
Regarding the parking lot, how much is the fee to park? Because when the Jackals played out there, it was free parking.
Brian, you want to touch that one?
Sure. We're actually still in discussions with the parking authority. It's going to be reasonable. A ticket to a game is $12, so it's not going to be
Yeah, I got no tickets, right?
Yeah, so it'll be right in that neighborhood.
And I think if you compare, Brian, just to add to that, if you compare like the max amount that they charge you normally for parking in a normal Paterson Parking Authority garage, it never exceeds like $8. So.
Any other questions pertaining to what we discussed as far as Hinchcliffe Stadium is concerned and the impact? All right, if there are no other questions, I want to acknowledge Frank Filipelli. Come up here, please. This is a Patersonian, and he is responsible for all the designs of Hinchcliffe Stadium, the new logo for Hinchcliffe Stadium, the website for Hinchcliffe Stadium. So it's one of our own who has an opportunity to showcase his talent with his wife, and I'm going to say it, sorry. And if you hadn't gotten married yet, I can officiate right now. So this is so whenever you see anything, for example, this is what he's designed. He's designed the city's new logo as well. We try to empower our own, and this is a young man who grew up in the city of Paterson. You may know his father. We won't hold it against it. No, I didn't say that, Frank. Sorry. But nevertheless, we're very proud of him. Thank you, Frank. Let's give him a round of applause. Come on. All right, thank you for joining us. I'll stay behind for any questions. I'm sure the school board members, the school board president, Commissioner Martinez will be behind with questions. Thank you very much, everyone, and hope to see you sometime next week at Hinchcliffe Stadium.